What's going on, YouTube? I am Justin Fraser, filling in for Matt Faircloth, doing the best I can to fill those big old shoes. I'm here for Mentorship Monday. So excited to have some guests today. Got a special surprise guest for Mentorship Monday, and really just excited to be here, starting the week off strong. Had a very, very productive week. It's a little hard to do some of this banter on your own. So I'm going to bring in, but I want to bring in my partner today, Mr. Herve Francois. Herve, thanks for joining me.
Justin, thanks very much for having me here, my man. I appreciate it.
I wanted to bring you on because our questions today are all about finding properties. And as we know, Herve is our property acquisition specialist.
Right.
Who happened to find this really, really big deal that we're working on right now. So for now, I'll call you the expert fisherman because you've got one on the line for us.
I appreciate it. I don't know if you guys are, cursing under your breath as you go to sleep. Why are you going to get this done on property? But yeah. I like presenting you guys a nice big challenge, and I think that's what we have under our belt here right now.
I think it is a challenge. It certainly is a challenge, but it's great. Today, Herve, our questions come from DeRosa insiders, and so let's start with, a few people said they're having a problem. Their biggest challenge this week is finding an apartment complex to purchase.
Okay.
So Herve, I'm an investor. I say to you, how do I find an apartment complex to purchase? What do you have for me? What do I do?
So, Justin, it's a great question. And I get this a lot. I literally got it from another investor today who hit me up on Facebook Messenger. He's like, hey, dude, I'm looking to, find an apartment, in this particular area. How'd you do it? How can, is there a way that you can help me, kind of a thing? And if it's all right with you, I'd like to split this answer up. I'd almost like to bracket in regard, because I think the answer is a little bit different versus if you've never done a deal before versus if you have done a deal in the past.
Sure.
But maybe you may want to, you want to scale up to a bigger size property if you already have one or two underneath your belt. So I'll first start off with those that currently don't own any properties whatsoever, and they're trying to get their first one. So, and then when you look at that group, you can segment to looking for one in your own state versus looking for one out of state. So here we go. Let's start in state, right? So Justin, you and I in New Jersey. From New Jersey, you want to try to find your first property in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, whatever state you're located in, is and this is the easiest. Is get on the road. Get on the road, drive around. Drive around particularly to the city, to the town, to that market in your specific state that you are interested in purchasing your first property. Whether it's going to be a multifamily, it's going to be mixed use, whatever it is. Drive around that area. As you drive around that area, you're going to see signs for commercial brokers that have leases of properties, multifamilies that are available in that particular neighborhood, in that particular town. You're going to take pictures of those signs, of those brokers. You're going to get the name of the broker. You're going to get the name of the firm he or she works for. You're going to get their phone number. You're going to write it down. You're going to continue driving around the property, around that town. You're going to continue to do the same thing. You want to get more than one contact information, because you can go ahead and say, well, here are some of the big national brokers, M&M, C&W, Capstone, and so on and so forth, right? Berkshire Hathaway. You can get those, but the thing is, they may not be big in the particular market that you are targeting for your first purchase. So they might actually be covered. That area might actually be covered by some lower, maybe some local commercial brokers, not the big national ones that we here at the DeRosa Group get in contact with more on a frequent basis, because we've done purchases before, and even bigger purchases out of state. That's a separate conversation. If you're in your backyard, drive around, get those name and contacts. Once you get those contacts, call them up. If you can, I know that we're in a COVID world. If you can, meet up for them at a Starbucks, meet up with them at a Panera Bread, something like that. Start having conversations with them exactly what you're looking for, what you're in the market for, what your interests are. You're going to want to talk a little bit about your current capital situation, because that's going to be able to help them in mind with what they're looking for when they're looking something for you. And listen, Brokers, Justin will tell you this, they like to know that you can close quickly. You said earlier, Justin, that someone told you that 99% of the time the brokers don't call back. There's a reason why they don't call back 99% of the time, because they don't want to feel that their time is being wasted. Because for them, commercial brokers, as many of them are getting compensated on a commission basis, time is money for them. That is a real time. Is that cliche fits commercial brokers probably than any other industry profession in this country. So they don't want to feel that they're wasting time. How do you make a commercial feel like he or she is not wasting their time? Is when you sit them down, you have that face-to-face with them. You even come with a list saying, these are the type of, this is my criteria of the type of purchase I'm looking to make. And from that, this is the kind of capital that I can come with, either on my own or with a line of investors that I've already spoken to about my first purchase. You want that commercial broker to partner up with you into helping you find your first purchase. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. I love the action that you said, which is drive, which is requires you to get out of your house and invest. And you're investing. You want to invest and buy a property, but you have to invest the time and energy and build relationships. And you have to do that, like you said, by going.
Yes,
and like you said, it could be that I want to invest, a few hours flight away, but guess what? Invest in the plane ticket and invest in the hotel room.
That's absolutely right.
Drive it, set up meetings, like you said, because I think, Herve, a broker is going to take you a lot more seriously if you say, hey, broker, I'm flying in from wherever, New Jersey to Kentucky, let's say, and I'm coming in and I want to meet with you, and I'm coming in just to meet with brokers.
That's right.
That right there sets you apart from a lot of people, because you're already showing that you're investing time and energy into coming. And you say, look, let me take you out for lunch, or let me buy you a coffee, right?
Absolutely.
Now they're getting free coffee, and and you're coming from out of state. Right?
That's right.
Oh, this guy is a little more serious than the 10 other people that called me today and said, put me on your, private list or whatever.
Off-market deal.
Yeah,
look for an off-market 7 cap. Right. Yeah. Have you ever heard of those? I want to be your first go-to person that you're going to call when you get an off-market 7 cap.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're 100%
right. To that point, there's it makes sense, because brokers, first off, brokers get those deals. Brokers do get off-market 7 caps.
Yes, right? They do.
But they don't blast it out to every other person who decided that, North Carolina is a great place to invest. So if I'm in a broker in North Carolina and I've got 700 people from New York and New Jersey and Connecticut on my list, probably not calling all of them. Yeah. Probably calling the people that invested the time and energy into building a relationship, coming down, taking me out, following up. The other part of that, Herve, I think, is providing feedback on the deals that they do have, because I think a broker is going to test you. So the broker is going to say, okay, Herve, you've flown out here. You told me that you're excited. I got a deal down the street. So why don't we go look at that? Or let me send you the numbers on that. So what do you do with that, even if it's not a good deal for you?
So, no, it's a great question. And this happens a lot. And believe it or not, Justin, as you probably know, this happens still a lot to us at our group, where, and when we get that incoming email, sometimes even a phone call from a broker someplace around the country that says, hey, Matt Faircloth, hey, DeRosa Group, you know what? I have an interesting deal for you. You guys may want to take a look at this because you own this particular property in Lexington, Kentucky. And all of a sudden, they are putting something in front of us that absolutely has nothing in sympathy with our criteria of what we look for in a multifamily, right? And my first knee-jerk reaction is just to go ahead and just delete that email, don't respond to that broker, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, I can't do that. We as a team, we can't do that, because you never know when that broker is going to wind up bringing you an opportunity that does match your criteria, especially when you have the opportunity to jump on it right away. So typically what I do is I'll respond to that broker. Hey, listen, you know what? Appreciate you reaching out. What you just sent me doesn't meet our criteria. Here is our criteria, right? We look for boom, 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 boom. Same thing if you're an individual, you wind up meeting up with that broker. Like you said, you invest in that plane ticket, go out of state, you take that broker out to lunch. He says, hey, guess what? We have this listing right here. Do you mind if I go to take you right now? That literally happened to me as I was making the rounds in North Carolina back in February before COVID broke out, as you know. And I went in, I met up with a broker that is a local broker, decent sized local broker in the Winston-Salem market. And then from there, he's like, you know what? I got a couple of things right now. The funny thing is, because I had another meeting set up after him, I said, listen, give me the address. Let me do a drive-by. I'll take down some information. I'll email you back our thoughts. And I did that. Now, it wasn't a deal that fit our criteria, but I emailed him nevertheless, and I emailed him why it didn't fit our particular criteria. Doesn't mean it doesn't fit your criteria or somebody else's criteria. It just did not fit our criteria as a group. So if that broker, when you're having lunch with him or her, they have a listing right then and there, could even be an off-market pocket listing that they want to show you right after lunch, right after dessert, then go and check out that property with them. Have your dessert and go and check out that property with them. It might be something that doesn't fit what you're looking for. It may not be in the neighborhood. It may not be a type C class, type B class, depending what you're looking for. Maybe out of your price range, but go anyway and say, hey, listen, I really appreciate this. This is not exactly it's not my cup of tea because of reasons A, B, and C. Instead, do you have something like this? And they're going to tell you yes or no, but they're going to appreciate you, especially if you've taken time in the afternoon to go around with them in that neighborhood, in that market, be it in North Carolina, Kentucky, Florida, Georgia, wherever it may be. If that broker is worth their ounce in gold, they're not at their desk. They are not at their desk. They are out. They are shopping. They are showing people around properties. They're at a closing. They're doing anything but staying at their desk if they're worth their ounce in gold.
And Cedric, Real Estate Said, says, why has the DeRosa Group elected not to buy in Philadelphia versus investing in the markets that we're in? Can you talk about that, Herve?
Well, Philly, yeah. I mean, Philly is as you guys know, metropolitan city where Philly doesn't meet our criteria. I have to stress this point many times, and I can't stress it enough. Just because a city or a market does not meet our criteria does not mean it is not a good market to invest in. It just means it doesn't meet our criteria. Justin and I know plenty of multifamily investors in Philadelphia, and they are doing tremendously well. We know multifamily investors in Fayetteville, Lexington, and Winston-Salem, and they're doing tremendously well too. So the reason why Philly is not a good market for us is because Philly's a primary market. Okay, one of the tenets of the DeRosa Group is that we prefer to focus on secondary and tertiary markets. If there's a common denominator between Lexington, Fayetteville, Winston-Salem, they are all secondary markets. That is what we are attracted to. We are attracted to secondary markets in the East, Southeast, mainly because we believe, number one, obviously, they are less competitive versus the primary markets, like a Philly, like a New York City, like an Atlanta, like a Dallas. We think there are more attractive cap rates in secondary markets versus tertiary markets. And guess what? Here's a silver lining amidst everything going on with COVID. We're seeing, and we've actually been told we've been told this by the property manager at the property that we're looking at in Winston-Salem. There's a trading down effect that is taking place right now as people are a little concerned about the job prospect, the job market out there, and so on and so forth. So perhaps they were renting a place that was costing them $1,000, $1,200 a month in rent, and now they're trading down to apartments that are costing them $700 to $800 a month in rent. I don't like to use the word recession proof because in a recession, all of us have seen all kind of industries get hit, but I certainly like our chances of, in the event, this soft economy that we're in right now winds up getting extended for who knows how long, that we're comfortable with the rents that are being charged out of the properties that we invest in are not rents that are going to break tenants' bank accounts, that they have to go ahead and scrounge and, look for that last nickel underneath their sofa bed couch, in order to pay rent at the first of each month. So that's why we like the secondary markets. Now, I'm not going to ever say that Philly is not a good market. I'm just going to say that Philly does not meet our criteria. Why would Philly meet another investor's criteria? It could be it's in their backyard. It could be because of familiarity. There's a lot of good growth taking place in Philly right now. Some of that trading down that I was talking about, not only you're seeing it within states, you're seeing it from one state to another. So folks moving out of New York City into markets like Philly, going a little bit west and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of good things going on in Philly. I would never shut down Philly. I'd say do your homework. Philly as a major metropolitan city is going to have pockets of growth that are stronger than other pockets of Philly, not as strong. When you start talking about Central Philly and so on and so forth. So that's what that's what I would say. We are just more attracted to the DeRosa Group, more attracted to secondary and tertiary markets, where we don't need to be in a market that has an abundance amount of exposure to any one particular industry. We like to see more industry diversification in the markets that we target.
Love it. Love it. Really good stuff. Said, thank you so much for, thanks guys. Awesome. Thank you for your comments and for watching, and we appreciate it. Herve, thank you for popping in late notice, but I appreciate it. You always have a ton of great knowledge on finding markets, and hopefully this helps you get out and find your next deal. And I will take this time to say that we actually are partnering with a broker, not partnering really, but we are allowing a broker to come on, DeRosa Insiders. He's sharing a portfolio of properties that is for sale in Kentucky. And so he's coming on this week. We're setting that up. And so if you want to see what's going on, I mean, look, it's publicly available information. You can go find it. But if you want to hear how we interact with that broker and break down the information that he's presenting, how I think about it, what concerns I have, the questions I ask, and the team, and it's going to be open to all DeRosa Insiders. You got to join DeRosa Insiders. Join us. Come on. And it's going to be a really, really great session. And then we also have a 10 unit that's going up for sale. Not ours, but again, we're just making a connection. We're not no ownership, no fees or anything. We're just making a connection between seller and buyer and showing you guys how we might evaluate that deal, and hopefully helping our insiders to partner together and buy a property and just get start achieving their goals. Herve, thanks a lot, man. This was a lot of fun.
No problem. Justin, real quick, that session that you're talking about where the broker comes up, when is that session going to be taking place?
To be scheduled, but should be this week. So I'll let you know.
All right.
Get you on there. All right.
I might be interested. All right, man.
All right. See you later.